"I never thought I'd see you again," Alex muttered under his breath as he stepped into the grand ballroom filled with the soft glow of chandeliers reflecting off the polished marble floors. The room buzzed with polite conversation, the clinking of glasses, and the faint hum of a string quartet playing in the corner, yet all of it faded into background noise the moment his eyes landed on her. Emily Carter stood near the far end, radiant and poised, holding the tiny hand of a little girl who looked strikingly familiar. Alex froze, his mind racing back to a summer so long ago, a summer full of promises and misunderstandings that had led to their abrupt separation. The girl, with curls bouncing as she shifted her weight from one foot to the other, looked up at Emily and then at him, her big hazel eyes wide and curious, tugging gently at her mother's skirt. The sight of her sent a jolt through Alex, an inexplicable mix of shock and a deep, aching familiarity. Every instinct told him to walk away, to pretend he hadn't noticed, but his feet moved forward almost against his will, each step echoing louder in the silent chamber of his mind. Emily's head tilted slightly as if sensing his gaze, her lips parting in a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes, a subtle tension woven into the graceful lines of her posture. Alex's heart pounded, memories of laughter and unspoken words crashing over him like waves, each beat reminding him of what had been lost. The little girl giggled softly, pointing at a floral arrangement and chatting animatedly with Emily, and the sound of her voice made Alex's chest tighten, an unexpected pang of longing he hadn't realized he still carried. He found himself standing a few feet away, frozen between the urge to speak and the fear of shattering the fragile normalcy Emily seemed to have built. "Mommy, is he coming to play?" the girl asked innocently, and Alex's stomach dropped, the words hanging in the air like a fragile thread connecting the past to the present. Emily's eyes darted to him, a flicker of panic quickly masked by composure, and for the first time in years, Alex saw the weight she had been carrying, the secret that had remained buried until this very moment. The room, once filled with the soft murmur of society, now felt impossibly small, as if every gaze was focused solely on the three of them. Alex's mind raced, trying to piece together the puzzle, recalling fleeting glimpses of joy, fleeting touches that now took on a whole new meaning, and the realization began to settle deep in his chest. This child, the mirror of his own features in miniature, was the living proof of a past he had almost forgotten, a secret Emily had kept, and suddenly the world seemed to tilt, the familiar ballroom lights blurring into insignificance against the undeniable truth staring him in the face. He could feel the pull, the magnetic tension of history, love, and hidden truths converging, compelling him to act, yet unsure how to breach the delicate wall she had built around her life. Emily's fingers tightened around her daughter's hand, and the subtle anxiety in her stance spoke volumes, a silent plea for understanding or perhaps forgiveness. Alex swallowed hard, forcing his voice into a calm tone he barely recognized as his own. "Emily, it's been a long time." The words, simple yet loaded with years of emotion, hung between them like a fragile bridge, and for a moment, time itself seemed to pause, allowing the past, present, and future to collide in the quiet intensity of a single glance. Alex lingered near the grand entrance, his eyes never leaving Emily and Lily, and he could not help but notice how naturally the little girl clung to her mother, her tiny fingers entwined in Emily's hand as if the world beyond this ballroom did not exist. He felt a strange mix of admiration and longing, realizing how much time had passed and yet how much remained the same in the way Emily carried herself with grace under pressure. The soft murmur of guests and the gentle music seemed to fade as he observed them, each movement and gesture loaded with meaning he could not yet fully comprehend. Emily's eyes flickered briefly toward him, a silent challenge hidden behind her composed expression, daring him to approach or retreat, and Alex took a deliberate step forward, drawn by a force he could not resist. Lily's laughter rang out, pure and unguarded, and it struck a chord deep within him, stirring memories of moments he had once shared with Emily, moments now layered with complexity and unspoken truths. He forced himself to maintain a calm demeanor, though his mind raced with questions that he was desperate to answer without alarming her. As he moved closer, Emily shifted subtly, positioning herself protectively in front of her daughter, and Alex noticed the tension in her shoulders, the careful way she measured each glance and each word. He understood instinctively that there was much more beneath the surface than a casual reunion, that a life had been carefully constructed and guarded, and that any misstep on his part could shatter the fragile balance she had maintained. Lily glanced up at him with a mixture of curiosity and recognition, tilting her head slightly, and Alex felt a pang of emotion he could barely define, a mixture of awe, surprise, and something resembling hope. He extended a hand cautiously, a gesture meant to bridge the gap, and Emily's eyes narrowed slightly, searching his expression for intent, evaluating whether the years had changed him in ways that mattered. The soft clatter of glasses from nearby tables punctuated the tension, yet in that moment the rest of the world ceased to exist for him, the only reality being the presence of the two people who had defined a chapter of his life. He swallowed, steadying his voice, and spoke softly but firmly, "I have missed so many moments," letting the words hang between them, heavy with implication, and Emily's lips pressed into a thin line, the smallest quiver betraying the emotions she fought to contain. Alex observed her every subtle movement, every fleeting expression, his own emotions a careful blend of patience, curiosity, and growing urgency, realizing that this encounter was a delicate dance, one that required both courage and sensitivity. Lily's hand tightened around Emily's fingers as she sensed the tension, a small, unconscious gesture that made Alex's heart ache with recognition and a protective instinct he had not expected to feel. The music shifted, a gentle waltz filling the room, and Alex followed. Emily's subtle cues, maintaining a respectful distance yet inching closer with each measured step, determined to understand the story that had unfolded in his absence. He felt the magnetic pull of the past and the pressing weight of the present converging, knowing that the next moments would set the tone for everything to come, the delicate balance of discovery, trust, and the quiet unraveling of long-held secrets hanging precariously in the air. Alex found himself standing just a few feet away, his eyes tracing every movement of Emily and Lily, noticing how effortlessly the little girl moved through the crowd with a confidence that mirrored her mother's own composure. He could not help but recall the long afternoons they had spent together years ago, laughter echoing through empty streets and sunlit parks, a stark contrast to the quiet tension now hanging between them. Every time Lily looked up at Emily with a smile, Alex's chest tightened, the recognition of something precious yet hidden striking a chord deep within him. He noticed Emily's subtle adjustments, how she positioned herself between him and Lily, a shield that spoke volumes about the protective instincts she had honed over time. His mind raced, trying to reconcile the warm memories of the past with the delicate reality of the present, and the realization of what had been kept from him settled like a stone in his stomach. He took a slow, deliberate step closer, allowing the music and chatter of the ballroom to blur into the background, focusing entirely on the small universe of the mother and child before him. Lily's giggle floated across the room, and Alex's heart ached with a mixture of longing and admiration, noticing the same spark in her eyes that he remembered seeing in Emily's when they had first met. Emily's glance met his briefly, a silent communication loaded with caution, curiosity, and unspoken fear, and Alex felt the weight of the years pressing on them both, a shared history that demanded acknowledgement. He allowed himself a small, tentative smile, hoping to convey understanding and patience, while internally grappling with the realization that every second of the past had led to this encounter. The way Lily clung to her mother, the protective yet tender gestures Emily made, and the fleeting, unguarded moments of innocence between them created a complex tapestry of emotion that Alex could not ignore. He could feel the subtle tension building as he took another careful step, gauging Emily's reactions, and the quiet intensity of their connection grew, a mixture of hope, uncertainty, and the undeniable pull of shared history. Lily's hand tightened around Emily's, a small but meaningful anchor, and Alex understood that approaching too quickly could disrupt the fragile equilibrium. He spoke softly, almost to himself, yet loud enough for Emily to hear, "I did not know how much I have missed," letting the words linger in the air, carrying years of unspoken emotion. Emily's eyes softened slightly, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through her carefully maintained composure, and Alex sensed that the bridge between them was not just the past but also the cautious steps they would take together moving forward. Every detail, from the tilt of Emily's head to the hesitant glance Lily offered, contributed to the silent conversation unfolding, a dialogue of emotion and intention that required no words yet communicated everything he needed to know about the complexity, love, and unspoken truths that had brought them to this moment. Alex's mind was a whirlwind of emotions as he watched Emily guide Lily toward a quieter corner of the room, the little girl chatting animatedly about a stuffed animal she carried as if it were a companion on some grand adventure. He followed cautiously, careful not to startle either of them, yet every step felt heavy with anticipation, the years of separation pressing down on him with an unexpected weight. Emily's expression was composed, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of concern, a silent calculation of how much to reveal and how much to protect. Alex noticed the subtle way she held Lily's hand, the protective arch of her body slightly angled toward the child, and a deep pang of realization hit him. Emily had been alone in carrying the burdens of the past, and now, every choice he made could affect not just her but this small, spirited life he had not known existed. As they settled near a decorative fountain, Lily leaned on Emily, her head tilted in innocent trust, and Alex's chest tightened, a mixture of longing and the bittersweet ache of missed moments filling his thoughts. He cleared his throat, forcing his voice into steady tones, and spoke gently, "I did not know she was here," letting the words linger, a bridge between past regrets and the possibility of understanding. Emily's lips pressed into a thin line, a brief pause before she responded, her voice carefully neutral yet carrying an undertone of unspoken history, "She has been my world." The simplicity of her words belied the complexity of everything they implied, and Alex felt the magnetic pull of connection, history, and a responsibility he had never anticipated. He took another careful step closer, his gaze softening as he observed Lily's spontaneous laughter and the way her small hand fit perfectly in her mother's, realizing the depth of what had been concealed from him. The gentle sound of conversation from nearby guests and the soft strains of the string quartet seemed to fade into insignificance, leaving only the quiet resonance of this intimate tableau. Alex's mind traced back over the years, trying to understand the choices Emily had made, the secrets kept, and the silent sacrifices that had shaped their present moment. He felt the tension between patience and urgency, knowing he had to navigate carefully, respecting the space she had created, while simultaneously yearning to bridge the gap, to be present in a life he had only glimpsed from the outside. Lily's gaze shifted toward him briefly, innocent curiosity mingling with a quiet familiarity that sent a surge of protective instinct through Alex. Emily's eyes met his again, a subtle, wordless negotiation passing between them, an acknowledgement of the past, and a cautious invitation to step closer without overstepping boundaries. The quiet intimacy of the moment held him in place, a delicate balance of discovery and restraint, and Alex knew that every word, every gesture, and every glance would be part of the fragile process of rebuilding trust, understanding, and the unspoken bond that had silently endured through years of separation. Alex hesitated for a moment, taking in the way Lily's small hand squeezed Emily's with a mixture of comfort and quiet reassurance, and he felt a sudden surge of protectiveness and longing, a combination that left him breathless. The gentle hum of the ballroom seemed distant now, as if the world had narrowed to this small circle of three, every subtle movement magnified in significance. Emily's eyes flickered with a mixture of apprehension and careful calculation, and Alex could sense the effort she was making to maintain composure while managing the unspoken tension that had settled between them. He could see the depth of her restraint, the layers of emotion that she was guarding with meticulous care, and it stirred something deep within him, a recognition of the strength and resilience she had always carried. Lily's laughter broke through his reverie, a spontaneous, melodic sound that pulled him closer, making him acutely aware of what he had missed over the years. Alex shifted slightly, ensuring his posture was relaxed, yet his gaze remained attentive, studying the nuanced expressions that passed between mother and daughter. He noticed the way Emily's fingers subtly guided Lily, the gentle firmness in her gestures, and the way Lily responded with unquestioning trust, a mirror of the bond Alex had once known in another life, a connection that was now complicated by time and circumstance. He drew in a deep breath, steadying himself, and spoke softly, "I can see how much she has grown," letting the words hang in the air, carrying years of unspoken thought and tentative acknowledgement. Emily's lips pressed together briefly, a fleeting sigh escaping before she allowed a small, almost imperceptible nod, a silent concession to the truth of his observation. Alex stepped a little closer, his presence deliberate but measured, ensuring he did not overwhelm, and he found himself captivated by the way Lily's gaze met his for a fleeting moment, curiosity and familiarity mingling in her eyes. He could feel the unspoken dialogue, the delicate negotiation of trust, understanding, and recognition unfolding. Silently, every glance and gesture weighted with significance. Emily's posture shifted subtly, a protective instinct combined with a quiet invitation, and Alex understood that the path forward would require patience, sensitivity, and careful attention to the nuances of their interactions. The soft glow of the chandeliers reflected in Alex's eyes as he observed them, the room around him fading further into the background, leaving only the intensity of the present moment. Each heartbeat felt amplified, each subtle motion resonating with potential meaning, and he realized that every choice he made in the next minutes could influence the fragile dynamics that had taken years to form. Lily's small hand tightened briefly in Emily's, and Alex instinctively mirrored her energy with gentle attentiveness, aware of the delicate balance between approaching and respecting the space she had created. He allowed a quiet smile to form, one that conveyed warmth, acknowledgement, and the first tentative step toward rebuilding a connection that had lain dormant, and as he spoke again, his voice calm but filled with genuine intent, "I want to understand everything, if you will let me," the words offering both patience and a promise, the beginning of a dialogue that could bridge the years of distance and hidden truths. Alex watched as Emily adjusted Lily's jacket, her movements careful and deliberate, a tenderness that contrasted with the unspoken tension lingering between them. He could feel the pull of the years, the weight of conversations never had, and the quiet moments lost to time. Lily skipped a few steps ahead, her small backpack bouncing against her shoulders, and Alex's heart tightened at the sight, a reminder of the innocence he had never known he was missing. Emily's eyes met his briefly, the guarded expression softening just enough to reveal a hint of vulnerability, a silent acknowledgement that the past and present were colliding in ways neither of them could ignore. He stepped closer, his voice measured and calm. "She has your eyes," he said gently, the words carrying a weight he could not contain, yet delivered with care, allowing space for Emily to react. Emily's fingers lingered on Lily's shoulder for a moment, a quiet protective gesture, before she exhaled slowly and responded, "And she has your determination," her voice steady but layered with emotions carefully restrained. Alex felt a surge of connection, a realization that the threads of their shared history were woven into this small, vibrant life, and every glance, every gesture was a chapter waiting to be understood. He observed the subtle interactions between mother and daughter, the laughter, the small glances exchanged, the silent conversations that required no words, and he recognized the depth of the bond Emily had nurtured alone. The soft music in the background and the distant chatter of guests faded as he focused entirely on the immediacy of the moment, each heartbeat echoing the growing urgency to bridge the gap of years and secrets. He allowed himself a tentative smile, an offering of warmth and reassurance, feeling the fragile connection extend subtly, a bridge between the past and the possibilities that lay ahead. Lily looked up at him, curiosity shining in her eyes, and Alex felt the instinctive pull to engage gently, to honor the space that had been created while expressing his presence in her life. Emily's posture shifted slightly, a nuanced invitation layered with caution, and Alex understood that trust was being extended, if only in small increments. He spoke softly, carefully measured, "I want to be here, if you will let me," and the words hung in the air, carrying sincerity, hope, and the acknowledgement of time lost. Emily's gaze held his, a fleeting softness passing through her careful control, a silent negotiation that suggested the possibility of openness, of dialogue and understanding, while still maintaining the careful boundaries that had been essential to her and Lily's life. Alex's eyes followed Lily's playful movements, the effortless trust she placed in her mother, and he felt the weight of responsibility and the quiet determination to tread with care, understanding that every step forward required patience, empathy, and attention to the delicate dynamics of this newly revealed reality. The glow of the chandeliers reflected in the polished marble, bathing the trio in soft light, and Alex knew that this moment, fragile yet significant, marked the beginning of a careful journey toward connection, understanding, and the unraveling of secrets long held in the shadows of the past. Alex remained close enough to sense the rhythm of their small world, observing how Lily's laughter mingled with the soft murmur of Emily's reassurances, the delicate balance between innocence and protective vigilance creating a tension that drew him in. Every subtle motion of Emily's hands, the slight tilt of her head, the careful way she answered Lily's questions, revealed a history of quiet endurance and unwavering care. Alex's gaze softened as he noticed the small quirks of the child, gestures so familiar that they echoed moments he had shared with Emily long ago, memories that had never truly faded. The faint clinking of glasses and muted conversations of other guests seemed to dissolve around him, leaving only the intimate triad of mother, child, and the man now painfully aware of the missing chapters of their lives. He shifted slightly, keeping his movements slow and deliberate, a silent acknowledgement of the space they occupied and the emotional layers he was entering cautiously. Emily's eyes flickered toward him, a question hidden beneath composed restraint, and Alex responded with a gentle smile that was both a greeting and an unspoken reassurance of understanding. Lily's gaze wandered to him momentarily, curiosity softening into a fleeting recognition, and Alex felt a warmth he had not anticipated, an instinctive draw to be part of this tender, carefully constructed life. He inhaled deeply, steadying himself, and spoke with a soft confidence, "I want to learn about all the things you have built together," letting the words linger, resonant with curiosity and the desire to bridge the distance years had created. Emily's posture relaxed imperceptibly, a slight shift in the weight of her shoulders signaling an internal negotiation of trust, an unspoken conversation that carried more weight than any casual dialogue. Alex noticed how Lily's hand gripped her mother's ever so slightly, a subtle anchor of comfort. And he understood that every gesture, every movement, and every glance was part of a complex narrative that required patience and sensitivity. He allowed himself to focus entirely on the details, the way Emily's voice softened when she answered questions, the way Lily's eyes sparkled with candid delight, and the way their interactions wove an invisible tapestry of safety, love, and resilience. The gentle glow of the chandeliers highlighted the small nuances of expression on both Emily and Lily, creating a scene suffused with warmth and quiet revelation, and Alex knew that the next steps he took needed to honor the bonds already in place while offering the possibility of connection and understanding. He observed a fleeting moment of shared laughter between mother and daughter, the sound strikingly pure, and it reinforced his growing awareness that this was not merely a reunion but the beginning of a careful, measured rediscovery of life intertwined. Every subtle signal from Emily, every spontaneous movement from Lily, guided Alex in understanding the depth of the history he was now stepping into, and he felt the compelling mixture of hope, respect, and the tentative courage required to navigate the fragile, yet undeniable, bridge forming in front of him. Alex's attention sharpened as he noticed the subtle cues in Emily's behavior, the way she glanced toward a side table where a small stack of photographs and letters lay partially hidden beneath a decorative tray. The moment carried a tension that was almost tangible, a delicate intersection of past and present, as he stepped closer with measured intent, careful not to disrupt the fragile equilibrium they had been maintaining. Lily, unaware of the weight of the moment, tugged gently at her mother's sleeve, prompting a soft smile from Emily that betrayed both pride and protectiveness. Alex's eyes followed the gesture, absorbing the details, the expressions, and the unspoken dialogue that wove through their small interactions. He reached a point where the music, the chatter of guests, and the glow of the chandeliers faded entirely from his awareness, leaving only the quiet intensity of the mother and child and the years of history that had silently persisted between them. With a steady, calm voice, he asked, "May I see them?" gesturing toward the photographs and letters, the words carrying both curiosity and respect, a careful invitation to bridge the gap without overstepping. Emily's fingers lingered over Lily's hair for a moment, a subtle gesture of reassurance, before she slowly nodded, her gaze meeting his with an intricate blend of caution, trust, and quiet acknowledgement of the time that had passed. Alex moved slightly closer, his presence deliberate, and she retrieved a photograph, holding it out with both hands. He took it gently, the image of a small, smiling child who bore a striking resemblance to himself, evoking a mixture of awe, nostalgia, and a poignant ache he had not expected. Emily watched him closely, noting the shifting expressions that passed over his face, the flicker of recognition, the rising tide of emotion as he connected the dots silently. Lily, sensing the quiet focus, nestled closer to Emily, her small fingers brushing against the photograph, a gesture that mirrored the connection forming between Alex and the mother-daughter pair. Alex's voice was soft but steady, filled with wonder and a carefully restrained excitement. "She looks so much like me," and Emily's eyes softened imperceptibly, a mixture of relief and lingering apprehension passing through her expression. He carefully set the photograph down and looked at Emily, his gaze unwavering. "Thank you for letting me see this," the sincerity in his tone underscoring the gravity of the moment and the trust she was extending. The gentle flow of the evening continued around them, but within the small space they occupied, a quiet transformation had begun, the barriers of secrecy beginning to yield to tentative understanding. Alex sensed the delicate balance, knowing that each subsequent interaction, each careful word, and each observation of Lily's innocent behavior would further shape the fragile connection he was striving to nurture. The chandelier's light shimmered softly, casting reflections across the marble and illuminating the subtle, unspoken dialogue between them, a quiet tapestry of emotion, history, and the tentative steps toward shared understanding, the weight of long-held secrets slowly giving way to the possibility of reconciliation and closeness. Alex took a slow, deliberate breath, feeling the subtle weight of the evening pressing against the edges of the small, intimate space he now occupied with Emily and Lily. The gentle glow from the chandeliers cast soft reflections on the polished marble, illuminating the contours of Emily's composed yet slightly softened expression and the animated movements of Lily as she explored the space with innocent curiosity. Alex stepped closer, mindful of every gesture, every glance, ensuring that his presence was both acknowledged and unthreatening, a careful balance of engagement and respect for the world they had built together over years. Emily's eyes met his briefly, a flicker of uncertainty mingled with the faintest trace of hope, as if she were silently negotiating how much of the past could be reconciled with the present, and Alex's chest tightened at the gravity of that silent communication. Lily's laughter bubbled up again, pure and melodic, and he felt a surge of emotion, realizing how much he had missed, how many ordinary yet profound moments had unfolded without his presence, and how the realization of this absence sharpened both longing and determination within him. He allowed himself a small, tentative smile, one meant to bridge the distance, a gentle acknowledgement of connection that was patient, understanding, and carefully attuned to the unspoken signals between mother and child. "I want to be part of her life," he said softly, his voice steady, carrying sincerity and a willingness to take careful steps forward, each word weighted with intention and hope. Emily's fingers brushed lightly over Lily's hair, a subtle yet deliberate gesture of reassurance and consideration, and she responded with a quiet, measured tone, "That will take time, but we will see," a delicate balance of caution, openness, and the acknowledgement of the years that had shaped them both. Alex nodded, absorbing the layered meaning in her words, the patience required, and the recognition that trust was earned in measured increments, a process he was willing to respect and navigate. He glanced at Lily, who looked between them with curiosity and a sense of recognition that was almost instinctive, and he felt an unspoken promise forming in the space between past regrets and future possibilities. The soft background music and the distant chatter of the ballroom faded further from his awareness, leaving only the intensity of presence, observation, and tentative engagement, a moment stretched between the echoes of history and the first steps toward rebuilding connection. Alex's gaze returned to Emily, the silent communication deepening, a mixture of vulnerability, respect, and the cautious optimism that hung delicately in the air, a bridge toward understanding, reconciliation, and the quiet promise of shared experiences yet to come. The subtle play of light, the gentle cadence of Lily's movements, and the nuanced expressions of Emily created an atmosphere where each heartbeat, each glance, and each word carried significance, leaving Alex aware that the next moments would define the fragile, tentative journey they were beginning together, a journey of patience, discovery, and slowly unfolding trust.